Let me show you exactly how I made over $10,000 in my very first month on TikTok Shop as an affiliate. So that image right there, you're looking at my TikTok Shop dashboard from February 2024, which was my very first month posting on the platform ever, let alone as an affiliate. And this wasn't because I got lucky with some viral product or because I had some sort of special advantage that you don't know about. The truth is, I never posted a single piece of content online before this, and I was completely new to TikTok Shop. I actually never heard of it until January of 2024. But after 30 days, I made over $10,000 commission. It was because I approached TikTok Shop completely different than really 99% of people who try and fail. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did that, every decision, every mistake, and the exact system that I used to go from complete beginner to 5 figures in just 1 month. I'll share the product that got me there, the scripts that converted, and the data-driven approach that allowed me to scale while others were still hoping to get lucky. So if you are serious about making life-changing money on TikTok Shop and you want to skip months of trial and error, keep watching. So I first got into TikTok Shop at the end of January 2024, and I've been making money online for a couple years now. I used to do Amazon FBA, resold sneakers. That's how I got into making money on the internet, but I was never a fan of actually like posting content online. I had Twitter, but other than that, I really didn't post stuff online because I just didn't want to. I just didn't like showing my face out there. So I started seeing these tweets of people talking about TikTok Shop and they're making this crazy money. I saw screenshots of people doing 20K in a single month, and one guy in particular, I saw a lot of his content. I went on TikTok Shop and I saw some of his content out there, and I was like, that content isn't really that good. And he was making 20-30K a month at the time. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I don't care, whatever, I'm just gonna start posting and just see what happens. So at that time, again, I didn't know much at the time. I didn't know anything about marketing, copywriting, and there was one video that I watched, some free YouTube video, where someone was explaining how when you're making marketing, direct response marketing videos, you should be starting with talking about problems first and then solutions. So I spent like the entire day trying to grasp that concept in my head, because at the time that did not make any sense to me, how you're talking about problems first and then you talk about the solutions. But I stuck with it, and so I ordered my very first product on TikTok Shop. So I started promoting actually this product right here. It's from Clean Nutra. I keep a lot of these old supplements just because it's fun to look back. So if you were on TikTok Shop even 5-6 months ago, Clean Nutra is still on there, but this was their very first product that did really well. This was the original sea moss ashwagandha. As you guys know, sea moss ashwagandha is probably the most sold supplement of all time on TikTok Shop, but this is basically a relic at this point. This is like a historical artifact in terms of TikTok Shop. This was the first one that started all of this. So I caught the tail end of this though. So TikTok Shop really picked up at the end of 2023, and so I got started at the end of January in 2024. So I started making videos on this. Now keep in mind, at the time there's like 70,000 sold, and so a lot of my videos were very, very bad. It was really bad. I was talking like a robot, and I was like, do not buy this. And as you can see now, I made substantial progress in actually learning how to speak to a camera. But either way, I made about 10 videos. Made about 10 videos for this product in a row. And that's something that I am very grateful that at the time when I started, is I wasn't promoting random products. For whatever reason, in my head, it made sense to learn how to promote the product. And only after giving it the absolute best shot that I can give it, will I move on. So a lot of people make that mistake right off the bat and they screw themselves for TikTok Shop. So I made about 10 videos on this product. I didn't get a single sale. I was averaging about 300 views, but that entire time I was over the top analyzing every single thing. I was looking at my watch time, what percent watched the full video, and I was trying to analyze, okay, is this getting better? Am I getting worse? What do people want to listen to? And that's something that I still do to this day. So I gave up on this product, and at the time I told one of my close buddies about this, like, hey, I'm starting a TikTok Shop. So he started it as well. And so at this time, I'm about a week and a half in, we're getting to the end of January of 2024 and haven't gotten a single sale. I made like 6-7 videos. And then I remember I'm sitting at a basketball game and I get a call from him and I answer it, and he was like, I just got my first sale. I made $3. And I was like, no way. Like at the time in February of 2020, or excuse me, the end of January 2024, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's actually real. It didn't hit me until he called me and told me that he got that first sale. And from at that point, I was like, all right, I got to make this happen, because that first dollar that you make doing something new, making money on the internet in some way, is honestly life-changing, because nothing clicks in your brain until you see that first one come in. So I ditched this product. I was like, all right, it's too saturated. I need to find something different. So at the time, my next thought was, okay, let me just scroll through the TikTok Shop marketplace. I didn't have Kade at the time. I didn't have any tools. I barely knew what I was doing. All I knew is that there was a company called Beast Bites. Beast Bites, they had their creatine gummies. They were on the top products on TikTok Shop at the time in end of January of 2024. And I saw they just launched a new product. It was a sleep gummy. So they had this sleep gummy. There was only like 50 sold. It might have been anywhere between like 100 to 150 sold. But I noticed something really weird. It was only $10. Like, there's no way. How are these sleep gummies only $10? That has to be a mistake. The company must have messed up somewhere. And so as a result, I ordered. So I really wanted to start making videos on it before I even got it. So at that time, you could make videos on a product before you even had it. You wouldn't get a violation for that at this time. And I know this is like ancient history in TikTok Shop because the whole platform progresses so fast. But so what we did was I started making videos and I would put up a screenshot of the product and basically saying like, oh, there's a price glitch from it. And then that within 2 days later, and about 2 videos posted, I started getting a couple sales and it started to pick up. And I think I got anywhere from like 30 to 40 sales a day. Keep in mind, the product was still $10. I was only getting like, I think it was like $1 or $2 commission, but I got up to like $30 a day. And then the next thing I noticed was that, oh, the price is back up to normal. So I was like, okay, that must have been some sort of weird fluke, whether they did that on purpose or not, I don't know. But the whole time I'm still only posting that product. And so this whole time I'm analyzing my watch time. What do people want to listen to? I'm getting better at writing scripts. So at this time, because I was still understanding the whole framework of direct response marketing, if you haven't figured this out, TikTok Shop yet is just a longer form of direct response marketing, talking about problems and solutions, call to action. This stuff isn't new. It was just brought to TikTok Shop. So at the time I'm sitting there, making these, I have a piece of notebook at my 9-to-5, notebook paper, literally physical notebook paper. I'm taking pen and writing down every single word that I'm going to say. And the reason this was so helpful, and if you're beginning, I cannot recommend this enough, because this really taught me how to analyze the structure of a video. So I realized that, oh, hey, I only spent 2 sentences here before I go into the solutions. That's not good enough. You got to dig into people's pain. And that's where I really understood that concept and got good at it, because I was writing every single word that I was going to say. And I can visually see, oh, I spent 5 or 6 lines talking about problems. That's good enough. And so that's this whole time I began to understand the product better. And I began to understand, why are people buying this versus other products? And I was using AI at the time just to like, hey, help me understand this. And that's something that I still do to this day, just infinitely better. And so then all of a sudden I had my very first viral video. So I will pull up my first viral video and I will play it for you guys to understand, and so we can start to talk about why this worked in the first place.
Melatonin is the worst sleep supplement that you could possibly buy. It causes way more problems than it actually solves. Let me explain. If I had to take a guess, you probably started taking melatonin because you just couldn't sleep well at night whatsoever. You're constantly waking up every couple of hours, tossing and turning, worried about how many hours you have left until you have to wake up and go to work. You buy and take melatonin every single night because Big Pharma has you convinced that it's the best sleep supplement that you can possibly buy. That's not the case because they've been tricking you. You didn't know melatonin is actually a hormone that our body already contains. All you're doing is just taking significantly more than our body even needs. To top it all off, I guarantee you're taking at least 2, 3, 4 times the recommended dose. So that leaves you in 2 categories. You're either A, waking up extremely drowsy because you took way too much melatonin that your body quite frankly doesn't even need, or 2, melatonin has a negative effect and actually makes your sleep even worse. My situation was the latter. Thankfully, I was able to find a substitution to melatonin that doesn't make you feel like crap or give your body something that it doesn't actually need to sleep. The answer to that is something called valerian root, which is the main ingredient in these sleep gummies. Historically, valerian root has been used to treat insomnia. Specifically, what valerian root does is it helps induce serotonin levels that your body needs to actually fall asleep and stay asleep. I'm not joking when I say I'm never going back to melatonin ever again. I'm taking them for a week.
So that was the very first video that started to blow up. And at the time, it got to around 10,000 views and it started getting multiple sales. And so that was just an eye-opening experience for me. I started to see, okay, this is actually possible. And I don't remember exactly, but I think I did anywhere from around like $50 to $100 days. And so what I learned from making that video specifically is, if you notice, I did that video very well. Even though that was my very first month, every single day I was getting better. If you see the comparison from my very first video to that video right there, there are major improvements. I'm speaking to the camera better. I'm talking about problems. If you notice, and this is something I still follow to this day, I only talked about problems for the first 50% of the video. I took the first 50% of the entire video just to talk crap on melatonin. And so that's why that angle was so powerful, is I took a common belief that people had about something, about sleep in general, and I challenged it. And so that's why it worked so well, because I was getting so many comments of people saying, I take melatonin every day, and I was just causing controversy. I was opening up people's brains to a new possibility, to something else that might be better than melatonin. And so that video started to take off, and now I understand, okay, that worked well. Let me just do it again and again and again and again. So basically every single single video from that point, I took that same idea of talking crap on melatonin and transitioning into, okay, now take this other sleep supplement where it doesn't have melatonin, it doesn't cause grogginess, you're gonna wake up feeling refreshed the next day. And so I just basically rode that to a point where I got to my very first ever $1,000 day. I'll throw up a screenshot. Again, I was sitting there at my 9 to 5 in my office thinking, no way I just made $1,000 today. I was like, I don't know how long this is gonna last, but let's just ride it until, it starts to slow down. And then the next day I got up to $2,400 in commission in one day. And that was just an unreal feeling. And I will never forget taking that screenshot. I probably looked at it for at least a couple hours that entire day. I made $2,400 in one day off of some stupid videos on the internet. And again, that worked well at the time because I picked a good product, the brand was well known, and it was something that hadn't been done on TikTok Shop at that point. And that's why it created a really good opportunity, because I was able to come in and make good videos on it when that product was just getting going. And so this whole framework, this whole process is something that I've just continued to develop for the next 12 months to a point where I still am basically doing the same things, just at a better level, more consistently, and just getting 1% better at each of these areas. And so that's why my very first month I was able to do that much, is because every single day I was focusing on improving. And this is the biggest mistake that I still see from TikTok Shop affiliates today. They'll have one viral video promoting ashwagandha and sea moss, and then the very next product they'll be promoting a couch. What are you doing? You did the hard part. You got a viral video, you got a viral product, and now you're just going and promoting a couch, a water bottle. What are you doing? And so that's why I was able to scale that so much, is because I had multiple videos going viral for the melatonin angle for the same product. I basically remade that script 10 different times, and that's something that I still do to this day. The main theme behind that is when you have a winner, when you have something that's working, double down on it. Don't just go and start something different. And most importantly, this is where most people go wrong. They would have that viral video, and not only would they not move on, they wouldn't learn anything from it. Every single day I was analyzing. I was so meticulous with understanding what was the watch time on this video. Oh, it's really clear that this video got more likes. These were common comments I was getting. These were the stats that TikTok was giving me. Everything that TikTok gives you is just data, from views to watch time to percent that watched the full video to product clicks. Every single day before I started blowing up and doing that $1,000 day, I was looking at my product clicks. And so if you don't know this, 10% product clicks in terms of views. So if you get 1,000 views, if you get 100 product clicks, that's really good. And if you're not analyzing this data on a daily basis and understanding, hey, this is how I get to this next level, you're never going to make that big money. And so that right there is exactly how I went from zero to over $10,000 in a single month as a TikTok Shop affiliate. And for a lot of people, you might be thinking, can I actually do this? And the answer is absolutely yes. I'm a normal person. I was just willing to follow a system and let the data guide my decisions instead of just jumping from product to product, hoping, oh, is this going to work? Instead of just actually focusing on what got me there. But here's the reality. This journey genuinely would have been a lot faster and less stressful if I actually had someone to walk me through the months and months of knowledge I had to learn myself. I spent countless hours researching, testing, and making mistakes that could have been avoided. And with how competitive TikTok Shop is becoming, way more so than when I started, you genuinely cannot afford to waste time figuring everything out yourself from scratch when you're competing against people like me and other successful affiliates. So that's why I created my 60-day mentorship program. People, they're going to be working one-on-one with me. You'll get my complete product selection framework that actually helps you find winners before they saturate, my proven video structures that consistently convert viewers into actual buyers, not just going viral, and most importantly, just direct feedback on your content to guarantee that it actually performs, and more importantly, just a clear roadmap to hit 10K months consistently, not hit 10K and fall off a cliff. So I do only work with a small number of serious students each month, just so I can make sure that they're getting my full attention. And so if you are ready to skip the learning curve and just start seeing real consistent results with TikTok Shop, click the link in the description to book a call with me. Again, I don't take on everybody. Please only do this if you're serious. So we'll discuss if it's a good fit. I'll walk you through exactly how we'll work together to get you to your goals, whether that's 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.